Let's be honest, being an artist isn't the dreamy life everyone imagines. It's tough, it's isolating, and most days it feels like you're screaming into the void. So, why do we keep pushing through the madness? Let me show you the gritty reality behind the creative process and why we can't quit, no matter how hard it gets. Welcome to Inking Out Loud, the podcast where we dive into the world of making comics and anything art related. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see me working on my latest comic that can be found on my Substack. There will be a link in the description below. And if you're already listening on Substack, head over to my main page and check out the pinned post to see the comic. This is episode number 3. Let's get into it. People think being an artist is a glamorous, quirky lifestyle. We're all sitting in cute little studios, casually creating masterpieces, selling art for millions of dollars, going out enjoying ourselves and partying all the time. Well, spoiler alert, it's nothing like that. Reality is usually far less romantic. Picture a frustrated artist hunched over a laptop in a dark, cold room, losing their mind because they can't figure out how to draw a 1970s teapot from a bird's eye view. Now, luckily I've never had to draw a 1970s teapot from a bird's eye view, but I imagine it's pretty difficult. Here's the thing about being a solo artist. It can be so isolating. You spend hours, sometimes days, locked in your own little world, trying to bring your ideas to life. But the worst part? The world barely notices. Even when you finally get your work noticed, it's only then do you start to realize no one actually cares. No one cares that you spent hours, days, or even weeks on that one panel in your little tiny comic book that no one cares about. They'll look at that panel for less than half a second. They'll just skim over it, but then they'll make a judgment on whether or not they think it's good. Why do we keep doing it if the odds are stacked against us? If success feels like a distant dream, why do we still push forward? I've asked myself this question more times than I can even count. It's easy to feel like a failure when you're surrounded by people who seem to have it all figured out, when you get 0 views on your Instagram post, or when your work doesn't get the attention you think it deserves. But here's the truth. It's not about fitting in. It's about the need to create. Sure, there's a ton of outside factors. Maybe I picked the wrong niche. Maybe my art isn't what people are looking for. Or maybe I'm just bad at drawing. But deep down, I know I'm doing this for me. There's something truly magical about taking an idea, something that is just floating around in your head, and turning it into something real. Something tangible that exists in the world because you made it happen. It starts out as a spark of inspiration, a fleeting thought, and through a mix of hard work, creativity, and sometimes sheer determination, it becomes a comic. It's like breathing life into your imagination, giving it form and substance. The transformation from concept to creation is empowering. But it can also feel overwhelming at times, especially when you're faced with all the technical challenges of storytelling. Art, pacing, character development. It's an intense process, but also deeply rewarding, because at the end of it, you will be holding something in your hands that didn't exist before you decided to bring it to life. The modern art scene, especially online, feels like a whole different game now. There's an unspoken pressure to chase viral trends. Whatever's hot right now, that's what sells. And if you're not jumping on the bandwagon, well, good luck. The internet has morphed into this massive content machine where creativity is often squeezed into whatever is trending right now. Remember when the web was full of different sites, blogs, and webcomics, each with their own unique style? Well, now it just feels like everything is crammed into a handful of platforms, all chasing the same algorithms. It feels like it has become an endless scroll of the same old content, recycled trends, and viral moments that have come and gone in a blink of an eye. And if you're an indie artist trying to break through that noise, well, good luck. The platforms that once uplifted small creators, giving them a space to share their unique voice, has now shifted their focus. Now it feels like they cater to mostly huge production teams, big brands, and viral content. Everything seems to be determined by who can pull in the biggest audience, rather than the quality or originality of the work itself. As an indie creator, it can feel like you're constantly swimming upstream, trying to find your audience in a space that is increasingly crowded with polished, commercialized content. It's not impossible, but it's a fight just to be seen, and that fight can be exhausting. So why do we keep going? Why spend hours on a project that might get ignored, or pour out your hearts into something that might not pay off? For me, it's simple. I can't not create. I spent years working on my own comics, countless hours of drawing, writing and rewriting, only to see most things get little or no views. But that's the thing about art. It's not about the external validation. It's about the process. Sure, the lack of response stings, but finishing a story is about keeping a promise to myself. Even if no one else cares, I can look at what I created and know that I did that. That's why we keep going. Not for the money, not for the recognition, but because we have to. There's something inside of every artist that compels them to create, even if it feels like the world doesn't care. It's a drive to bring an idea to life, to take something that exists only in your mind and make it real. If you're an artist feeling the grind, know that you're not alone. We all feel it too. The isolation, the self-doubt, the struggle to keep going. But that's part of what makes being an artist so powerful. We create because we must, and that's something worth celebrating. If this episode resonated with you, if you felt that connection, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what keeps you going, even when the process feels impossible, when the challenges seem too big to overcome. Share your stories, your struggles, and your victories. I'll also leave a link to my latest comic below, so you can check out to see what I've been working on. Thank you for listening, and remember, no matter how tough it gets, no matter how impossible it seems, keep creating. Your voice, your art, your story, they all matter.